The courtroom went still the moment the girl pointed at her mother. Her voice did not shake, but the truth behind it did. Judge Judy leaned forward, eyes narrowing, as the mother's smile faltered under the fluorescent lights. No one expected what came next. Not the audience, not the bailiff, not even the mother herself. Because the next words out of that daughter's mouth wouldn't just expose the truth. They would destroy the story the mother had been hiding for years. What she said next left everyone in the courtroom stunned. But before we jump in, tell me, where are you watching from? And don't forget to hit that subscribe button. The echo of the daughter's accusation has not faded when the courtroom shifts, a collective inhale held tight, as though everyone fears the truth might shatter if they breathe too loudly. The mother's smile freezes first. That carefully curated expression, the kind meant to charm judges, strangers, anyone who might be watching, flickers under the harsh white lights. But the daughter does not look at her mother's smile. She does not look at anyone. Her hand remains raised, finger still aimed at the woman who brought her into the world, as if lowering it would somehow weaken the truth she just released. Judge Judy studies that hand. Not the accusation itself, but the steadiness of it. The way the girl's fingers do not tremble. The way her jaw is locked in place, as if this is the only moment she has ever truly allowed herself to take a stand. Judy's eyes narrow with a kind of intuitive recognition. She has seen adults lie, teenagers pretend, and children crumble. But she rarely sees a young woman hold her truth like a blade. The courtroom will remain silent, Judy says, not loudly, but with the kind of authority that silences the air itself. The mother clears her throat, trying to regain the spotlight with a soft, overly pleasant tone. Your Honor, my daughter is emotional. She tends to exaggerate. Judy's hand lifts, firm and immediate. The mother stops mid-sentence. The daughter finally lowers her pointing hand, but her gaze stays on Judy, not her mother. It is a gaze asking for something, not pity, not vengeance, recognition. Start from the beginning, Judy instructs, and speak clearly. Why did you point at your mother before you said a single word? The daughter's lips part, but she hesitates. It is not fear. It is choice. Her eyes flick briefly to the gallery, as though searching for courage among strangers. Then she exhales, steadying herself. Because, she says softly, she knows exactly what she did, and she is hoping you will believe her before you believe me. A murmur pulses through the courtroom like a low, uneasy drumbeat. The mother's smile fractures. Something sharp replaces it, irritation wrapped in defensive panic. Your Honor, the mother protests again. She is twisting. Do not speak unless I ask you to, Judy snaps, her tone controlled but unmistakably edged. Right now, I want to understand why your daughter thinks you are lying. The daughter swallows hard. Because the story she plans to tell you is not the truth. It is the version she uses when she wants people to feel sorry for her. Judy leans back slightly, evaluating both of them, the composed authority of a judge and the silent curiosity of a mother trying to see who is hurting more. Then we will hear her story, Judy says, every piece of it. The mother stiffens, hands closing into small, restless fists, and Judy adds with a cold, precise calm that makes the mother's smile vanish entirely. Starting with why she felt the need to point at you at all. The mother's smile returns, but it is not the one she wore before. This one is tighter, stretched thin like fabric pulled too far, threads threatening to snap with the slightest pressure. She lifts her chin, composing herself as though the daughter's accusation were nothing more than a harmless rumor wafting through the air. The fluorescent lights cast a cold sheen across her face, highlighting the carefully arranged calm she is desperate to maintain. Judy sees it instantly, the difference between a confident woman and one clinging to performance. Your Honor, the mother begins, voice syrupy sweet, I would appreciate the chance to explain. My daughter is sensitive. She misremembers things. The daughter lowers her gaze not in shame, but in exhaustion, a familiar kind of weariness that comes from years of being dismissed in exactly this tone. The courtroom watches her fingers curl around the edge of the plaintiff's table, knuckles whitening. She does not interrupt. That silence alone says more than her words ever could. Judy's attention shifts subtly between the two women, like a camera zooming in on micro-expressions, the mother's polished smile, the daughter's quiet ache. The tension between them hums like static in the air. "Go ahead," Judy says, her voice low, controlled. "Tell me your version." The mother inhales, preparing a monologue she has clearly rehearsed. "My daughter gave me the money willingly. She told me she wanted to help with bills. She what?" Judy interrupts, eyebrow raised. The tone is surgical, not aggressive, but precise enough to cut through pretense. The mother falters, barely, but enough. She understood I was going through a difficult time. She was 14, the daughter whispers, still staring at the table. The mother stiffens. "Well, Your Honor, she was mature for her age, and I never forced her." "You took my savings," the daughter finally says, a tremor in her voice that comes from memory, not fear. "You told me you would pay me back." The mother laughs lightly. The sound forced, hollow. "Teenagers misunderstand so much. You know how they can be." Judy slams her pen down. The mother jumps. "Stop," Judy says, voice now sharp enough to silence the gallery. "Do not patronize your daughter, and do not insult this courtroom." The mother straightens stiffly, shoulders rising toward her ears like shields. But the daughter lifts her chin, eyes meeting Judy's with a courage that anchors the room. She does not cry. She does not break. She simply exists in her truth. "Your Honor," she says softly. She is lying because she always lies when she's afraid someone might look past her smile. A hush sweeps through the courtroom. The mother's smile fractures. This time, it does not come back. Judy leans forward, studying the girl's face with renewed interest. Not pity, not sympathy, but recognition. A story is unfolding, and it is not the one the mother rehearsed. Judy taps the bench once and says, "Stand up, young lady. I want to hear your story." Uninterrupted. The daughter rises slowly, every inch of movement deliberate, as if her body knows what her voice is about to carry, and braces itself for the weight. The courtroom quiets with her. Even the distant hum of the overhead lights seems to dim. Judy watches her stand, noting the way her shoulders square, not out of confidence, but out of necessity. "Take your time," Judy says, voice steady, guiding. The daughter nods once, then she lifts her eyes, not to her mother, but straight to the bench, to the one person in this room who cannot be manipulated by charm or excuses. "My mother did not borrow anything from me," she begins, her voice low but clear. "She took it." A ripple of tension moves through the gallery. The mother inhales sharply, already preparing a rebuttal, but Judy's raised hand freezes her in place. "Continue," Judy instructs. The daughter's hands clasp at her waist, fingers twisting slightly, the only sign of nerves. "It was my savings, money I earned doing chores, babysitting, helping neighbors. I kept it in a youth account my grandmother helped me open." Her throat tightens, but she pushes forward. "I wanted to save for college." The mother lets out a brittle laugh. "Your Honor, she is making this sound so serious." Judy shoots her a look so sharp it could cut through steel. "You will not interrupt again." The daughter swallows and continues. "One day, I checked the account and the money was gone. All of it. Nobody told me. I thought the bank made a mistake." Her voice breaks, not from fear, but from remembering a younger version of herself, trying to solve an adult betrayal she could not fathom. "I asked her what happened," the girl says, finally turning her head toward the woman beside her, "and she told me I must have forgotten giving her permission." The mother shakes her head violently. "That is not how it happened." "Quiet!" Judy snaps. "You will get your turn." The daughter presses her lips together, steadying herself again. "I believed her. I wanted to believe her. She was my mom." That single sentence lands heavily. The gallery shifts, each person absorbing the ache behind the words. "But then," the girl continues, "2 years later the bank sent a copy of the withdrawal slip. It had her signature on it." Her voice grows colder. "And mine." Judy's brows draw together. "Yours?" The daughter nods. "Except I never signed anything." The mother's mask slips. A flash of panic flickers across her face before she tries smoothing it back into calm. Judy leans forward, sensing the fracture line widening. "Do you have that document?" "Yes," the daughter whispers. "I brought it." A quiet gasp circles the room. "Give it to the bailiff," Judy orders. The girl retrieves a folded paper from her bag, handled carefully, like evidence of a wound she's carried for years. The bailiff takes it, walks it to the bench, and sets it before Judy with a weighty finality. The mother's smile collapses entirely. As Judy unfolds the document, her eyes sharpen, and she murmurs, just loud enough for the courtroom to hear, "Something about this signature is very wrong." The paper unfolds with a soft crackle, but the sound slices through the room like a blade. Even the mother flinches, as though the truth trapped inside it might leap out and expose her before Judy even reads a single word. Judge Judy holds the document at eye level, her glasses catching the fluorescent light as she scans the page. The courtroom is so still that every rustle of paper sounds amplified. The daughter stands motionless, hands clasped tightly behind her back. The mother sits rigid, knees pressed together, the edge of her nail tracing nervous circles on her thigh. Judy's eyes move slowly across the form. "Withdrawal authorization," she reads, "from a minor's savings account." Her voice cools. "Signed by the guardian and the child." The mother clears her throat quickly, too quickly. "Your Honor, that was a routine form. The bank required it." "Did they?" Judy interrupts, not looking up. The daughter's breath catches. A barely audible exhale. Judy tilts the paper toward the gallery light. Her face shifts, not dramatically, but enough to tell the trained observer that something has snapped into place, something she does not like. She finally lifts her gaze to the mother. "This is your signature," she says, tapping the paper lightly. The mother nods, eager. "Yes, Your Honor, I fully admit that. I signed it because—" "But this," Judy says, sliding her finger to the second signature line, "is supposed to be your daughter's signature." The mother freezes. "It is," she says firmly, but the firmness cracks around the edges. Judy does not blink. "Young lady," she asks the daughter, "did you sign this document?" "No," the girl answers immediately. "Never." The mother laughs, a single forced exhale that sounds more like a gasp, pretending to be confidence. "Your Honor, she probably does not remember. She was a child. She remembers," Judy cuts in sharply. "And I will tell you why." She turns the page toward the mother, lowering it just enough so only the two of them can see the angle of the signatures. Judy taps both names. "These signatures are written in the exact same pressure pattern. The downward stroke is identical. Even the slant is the same." The mother swallows hard. Judy's voice drops lower, not quieter, but heavier. Two different people do not sign with identical pressure and angle, not by coincidence, and certainly not when one of them is a child. The mother's eyes widen. The daughter's chin trembles, not with fear, with vindication. The gallery shifts, a collective realization passing through them. Judy places the paper on the bench, folding her hands. "So either your daughter forged your signature," her tone hardens, "or you forged hers." The mother opens her mouth. Nothing comes out. Judy leans forward slowly, the movement deliberate, almost surgical. "You want to explain which version of this lie you expect me to believe?" The mother's throat tightens visibly. Sweat collects along her hairline. She cannot answer. Not yet. Judy lifts the document once more, eyes drilling into the mother as she says the words that make the entire courtroom inhale sharply. "Because this signature does not belong to your daughter, and you know it." The mother's voice rises too quickly, the kind of rise that does not come from confidence, but from fear trying to outrun itself. She sits forward in her chair, palms pressed flat on the table, as if bracing against an invisible impact. "Your Honor, this is being taken completely out of context," she blurts, her tone now stripped of the sugary composure she clung to minutes ago. "I did not forge anything. I would never, why would I?" Judy does not answer. She simply watches. And that silence, that sharp, evaluating stillness, rattles the mother more than any accusation could. The mother continues to speak, words tumbling over each other like they are scrambling for a place to hide. "The bank must have misunderstood. They sometimes mix things up. Or maybe she did sign it and forgot." "She did not forget," Judy says, cutting clean through the excuses. "She has been consistent. You have not." The mother's jaw twitches. "I'm telling the truth." "No," Judy replies, leaning in slightly. "You're trying to outrun the truth." The daughter looks down, her fingers curling against the fabric of her sleeves. Not in shame, in painful recognition. She has heard these spiraling defenses before, each excuse a brick in a wall her mother built to protect her image, not her child. The mother pushes on, desperation sharpening her voice. Your Honor, I was under stress. Bills, job issues, health concerns. You have no idea what I was dealing with. My daughter was young. She did not understand the pressure I was under. Judy raises a brow. So your solution to being under pressure was taking her money? I did not take it, the mother snaps back. She forced my hand. The words slip out before she can catch them. Her eyes widen. The daughter's breath halts. The courtroom goes still. Judy's expression shifts, not dramatically, but with the precision of a surgeon hitting the exact nerve she was looking for. Forced your hand? Judy repeats slowly. Explain that. The mother swallows. Her gaze darts to her daughter, then to the gallery, then back to the bench, searching for an escape that does not exist. I meant, she stammers, I meant that she needed supervision, guidance. I had to make financial decisions for her because she was irresponsible with money. If I had not stepped in, she would have wasted it. The daughter lifts her head, eyes shining with anger and heartbreak intertwined. It was my money. Judy nods toward her. And from everything I have heard, she worked for it. She turns back to the mother. You worked for what? A lie that you hoped would never be challenged? The mother's breaths grow shallow, each inhale shaky, each exhale sharp. The cracks are not subtle anymore. They are widening, splintering through her composure like stress fractures in glass. Your Honor, she whispers, you do not understand what it was like. Oh, Judy replies, voice turning cold. I think I understand more than you want me to. She lifts the document again, tapping the signature with her index finger, slow and deliberate. Tell me, Judy says, eyes locked on the mother, what else have you taken from her that you are not admitting today? The mother sits back, but her spine never touches the chair. She is suspended in guilt and denial, caught between the truth she fears and the lie she can no longer control. Judy waits only long enough to let the question settle. What else have you taken? Before the silence becomes too heavy for the mother to bear. Her lips part. Nothing, she says quickly, too quickly. I have not taken anything else. The daughter inhales through her nose, a soft, pained sound that cuts deeper than any accusation. Judy spots it instantly. Something tells me, Judy says calmly, your daughter disagrees. The girl lifts her chin, eyes glistening with restrained truth. She took more than money, she murmurs. The mother snaps her gaze toward her. Do not exaggerate. Do not interrupt her, Judy warns. The tone is final, sharp enough to snap the tension into stillness. The daughter swallows. When she emptied my account, she told me I should be grateful, that she was teaching me responsibility, that I owed her for raising me. The mother stiffens, panic flickers behind her eyes. Judy's expression darkens just slightly, a shift of shadow across the bench. You said those words? I said, the mother stammers, that children do not always understand how adults must make difficult choices. The daughter's voice wavers, but her truth does not. You said I should stop acting like the money was mine. A hushed murmur flows through the gallery. Even the bailiff glances sideways at the mother. A silent judgment. Judy folds her hands. Let me ask you something, she says to the mother. When you took her savings, did you tell her beforehand? I meant to, the mother replies. But you did not. I was going to explain, but you did not. The mother's jaw trembles. Her eyes dart toward her daughter, then to Judy, then back to the document lying on the bench, the silent witness to every crack in her narrative. The daughter steps forward slightly, voice soft but steady. She said she would pay it back someday. She never did. She pauses. But that is not what hurt the most. Judy raises her eyebrows. What hurt most? She made me feel like I was wrong for wanting my own money, like I was selfish for saving it, like I was ungrateful for asking what happened to it. Her voice tightens. She made me think I was the problem. The mother shakes her head, her composure unraveling. Your Honor, this is ridiculous. She's making me sound like a monster. Judy's voice cuts clean through the chaos. I am not interested in how you sound. I am interested in what you did. A beat of silence. A long one. The kind where truth presses against the walls of the room, demanding to be heard. Judy leans forward. And I'm telling you right now, I think there is more you are still not saying. The mother freezes, breath caught halfway between defiance and collapse. Judy narrows her eyes. So let us uncover it. one truth at a time. If you were sitting in that courtroom, would you believe the mother or the daughter? The mother hesitates, and in that hesitation, the truth begins to take shape. Lies crumble fast, but guilt rots slowly, rising to the surface only when the person holding it can no longer bear its weight. She opens her mouth, closes it, then opens it again, as if each attempt is her wrestling with a version of the truth she does not want anyone to hear. Judy waits, arms folded, eyebrows slightly raised, the posture of a judge who already knows the answer but wants the liar to choke on the confession herself. Finally, the mother exhales. "Fine," she says. "Yes, I took the money, but I was going to pay it back, eventually." The daughter freezes, not shocked. She's always known her mother's truth came only when cornered, but the room shifts around her as though the confession pulls down a wall she's been pushing against for years. "Why?" Judy asks simply. The mother's throat tightens. "Because I needed it. Because I was drowning. Because life was harder than she understood." Her voice cracks in a way that startles even her. "I was trying to keep things together." Judy studies her. "And involving your daughter in your struggle, without her knowledge, seemed like a good solution." "I thought she would not notice," the mother whispers. "Kids forget. They get distracted. I thought she would move on." The daughter's eyes glisten. "I never forgot." The mother turns to her, something like shame flickering faintly behind her defensiveness. "I was doing my best." "No," the girl replies softly. "You were doing what made you feel better." Silence sweeps through the courtroom, not loud but heavy, like truth settling in the corners. The mother looks down at her hands. "I paid the bills. I bought groceries. I tried to keep our home together." "But that is not the whole story," Judy presses. Her tone sharpens, a scalpel slipping beneath the surface. "Because bills do not require forging a signature. Bills do not require secrecy. Bills do not require making your daughter feel guilty for wanting what belonged to her." The mother's breathing grows erratic. She grips the table, knuckles pale. "I did what I had to," she says, voice rising again. "You do not know how much pressure I was under." "And pressure gives you the right to steal?" Judy shoots back. The mother falters. Her eyes move to her daughter, but the connection is brittle, strained by years of unspoken wounds. "It was just once," the mother mutters. The daughter shakes her head. "No, it was not." Judy tilts her head. "Your daughter mentioned a second document, another withdrawal. Are you saying that did not happen either?" Panic surges across the mother's face. I do not remember. It was a long time ago." The daughter steps forward. She remembers. "She just does not want you to." The courtroom murmurs, tension pulsing through the walls. Judy leans forward slowly, her voice quiet but devastating. "Where is that second document?" The mother's eyes widen, not in confusion, but in fear. Before anyone speaks, the mother is already shaking her head, a frantic, desperate motion, the kind of instinctive denial that comes from knowing the truth is finally cornering you. Judy has not even repeated the question. She does not need to. The mother's reaction answers it for her. "I do not know what document she is talking about," the mother blurts, voice tight and rising. "There was nothing else. Nothing. This is ridiculous." The daughter does not look at her. Instead, she keeps her eyes on Judy, grounding herself in the one figure in the room who cannot be manipulated. "There was a second withdrawal," she says quietly. "A bigger one." The mother slams her palm onto the table. "That is not true." The room jumps at the outburst. Even the bailiff steps a half-inch closer. Judy lifts her chin, fixing the mother with a gaze sharp enough to pierce steel. "You will control yourself in my courtroom." The mother freezes, chest heaving. Her hands tremble violently when she pulls them back into her lap. Judy turns to the daughter. "Tell me exactly what you found." The girl nods, steadying her breath. "Last year, the bank mailed me a notice about a dormant account audit. It included copies of past withdrawals." She swallows. "One of them was from 2 years after the first one, a larger amount, and it had 2 signatures again." The mother looks like her lungs collapse inward. She grips the edge of the table as if the earth were tilting beneath her. "I never made any second withdrawal," she insists. I do not even remember." "That is the problem," Judy cuts in. "You remember selectively." The mother's eyes flick from Judy to her daughter, then away. Her fingers twitch. Her foot taps uncontrollably beneath the table. Each involuntary movement betrays what her words refuse to admit. "There is more to this," Judy says, voice low, almost cold. "People do not panic over documents that do not exist." The gallery hums with tension, whispers, shifting seats, held breaths. The daughter continues softly. "The second form. It did not just have her signature, it had someone else's." The mother snaps her head up. Her breathing stops completely. Judy narrows her eyes. "Someone else? Who?" The daughter's voice is steady as she answers. "Her sister. My aunt." The mother's face drains of color, the last remnants of confidence evaporating like steam from cold air. She presses a shaking hand to her mouth as if trying to hold back a truth she can no longer swallow. Judy sits back, watching the unraveling with the clarity of someone who has seen hundreds of lies collapse, but rarely with this much emotional debris. "So your sister collaborated with you," she says. "Or she knew. Or she helped cover it up." The mother stammers. "No, she did not. You are twisting—" "No," Judy says, voice slicing clean through the panic. "Your daughter is untwisting." The mother shuts her eyes in anguish, as if vision itself has become too heavy to bear. Judy leans forward, her tone quiet but devastating. "This second document changes everything, because it proves you are not acting alone." The question hangs in the air. Were you acting alone? The mother's silence is louder than any denial she has offered so far. Judy does not move. She simply watches the woman in front of her unravel beneath the weight of a truth that has finally found daylight. The mother's fingers shake as they clutch the fabric of her skirt, knuckles whitening as she tries to steady herself. Her daughter stands perfectly still, not triumphant, not vindictive, just tired. Tired of carrying a truth no one believed, tired of being the only person willing to name it. Judy's voice slices through the tension. "Tell me about your sister." The mother's throat convulses. She does not know anything about this." The daughter shakes her head softly. "That is not true. She helped you. The signature was hers. It matched her handwriting." The mother snaps toward her. "You do not know what you are talking about." But her voice cracks mid-sentence. The sound is sharp, brittle, the sound of a lie failing to hold itself together. Judy tilts her head. "If your sister had nothing to do with this, why was her name on a withdrawal slip from your daughter's account?" The mother's lips part, but no words come out. She searches the room as if the answer might be floating somewhere in the air, waiting to save her. "Let me tell you what I think happened," Judy says, leaning forward just slightly. "You needed money. You had access to your daughter's account, but you knew someone at the bank might question it if only your name appeared again, so you asked your sister to sign off with you." The mother shakes her head weakly. No, you are wrong," Judy continues, her tone sharpening with each word. "Or worse, your sister withdrew the funds herself so it would not trace back to you." A wave of murmurs sweeps through the courtroom. The mother's breath stutters. For the first time, her eyes do not go to her daughter. They go to the door, as if expecting her sister to walk in, or as if terrified she might. The daughter speaks softly, painfully. "I asked Aunt Valerie about it last year. She told me she did what she had to do to help." The mother's entire body jolts. She told you that?" "Yes." The mother covers her mouth with her shaking hand. The movement carries grief, guilt, and something darker, fear of being fully uncovered. Judy says nothing at first. She lets the silence expand, lets the truth breathe. Then, quietly, "So not only did you take money from your daughter, you dragged a family member into it." The mother's eyes fill, not with remorse, but with panic. The daughter watches her, not with satisfaction, but with sorrow. This is the moment she realizes the truth was worse than she imagined. "Your Honor," the mother whispers, I can explain." "No," Judy says softly but firmly. "You will explain, but not by rewriting the story again. We are done with your revisions." The mother grips the table, her voice trembling. "I never meant for her to find out." Judy's eyes narrow. "People who never mean to get caught usually mean to lie." Judy leans in, voice cold as glass. "So tell this courtroom, what role did your sister really play in all of this?" The mother opens her mouth to answer, but no words come out. For the first time, her silence feels honest, not strategic, not manipulative. Honest, because it is terrified. The courtroom seems to tilt, just slightly, as if the truth has shifted the weight of the room. Judy watches her with unblinking intensity. "I'm waiting," she says, not threatening, just inevitable. The mother swallows hard, shoulders trembling. "My sister didn't mean to. She was trying to help me. I was struggling. I couldn't keep up with bills, with school fees, with keeping the house running." The daughter closes her eyes, pain rippling through her expression. The mother sees it, and something inside her cracks. "I didn't want her to know," the mother continues, voice cracking. "I didn't want my daughter to think I was failing. I didn't want her to see how bad it was." Judy leans in. "So you stole from her instead?" The mother flinches as if struck. "I didn't know what else to do," she blurts. "I was drowning. I was scared." The daughter opens her eyes at that. Her expression is soft, but wounded. "You were scared," she repeats quietly. "But you weren't scared of hurting me." The mother's breath catches. She wipes at her face, fingers trembling. Her mascara smudges into gray shadows beneath her eyes, like bruises made of regret. "I thought I could fix it before she ever found out," the mother murmurs. "I thought it would be temporary." "Temporary lies," Judy says, "have a way of becoming permanent damage." The mother's hands clutch the table, knuckles whitening as if she's holding on to the last piece of her collapsing story. "I wasn't trying to be a bad mother." The daughter's voice softens, not with forgiveness, but with clarity. "You didn't try to be a mother at all. You tried to be someone who never admitted they needed help." The mother looks at her, eyes wide, broken. Her mouth opens again. And this time, the sound that escapes is not defensive, not angry, but small, fragile. "I didn't want you to think less of me," she whispers. The daughter's heart twists, a complex tangle of sadness and resentment, but she stays steady. "I never thought less of you," she says, "until you lied." A visible shudder runs through the mother. Her facade, once held together by charm and denial, now hangs in tatters. Her breathing becomes uneven, each inhale shivering through her ribs. Judy lets the moment stretch. It is not cruelty. It is truth. Finally having room to breathe. Then Judy speaks, voice quieter than before, almost gentle but unmistakably firm. "There is still more. I can hear it. You haven't told us the real reason you took the money." The mother's head jerks up. I did." "No," Judy says, eyes narrowing with cold accuracy. "You told us the reason you want us to believe." The mother stiffens, chin trembling. Judy's tone deepens. "But not the truth you've been hiding from even yourself." A tear slips down the mother's cheek. She doesn't wipe it away. "What were you really protecting?" Judy asks. The mother's lips quiver, and she finally whispers, "It wasn't just about the money." The mother's whisper, "It wasn't just about the money," ripples through the courtroom like a chill. The lights seem harsher now, the silence almost living, as if the room itself leans in to hear what she has buried for years. She doesn't lift her head, not yet. Her fingers twist together in her lap, knotted with guilt, fear, and something deeper, something older. Judy waits, not impatiently, not harshly, but with the calm of someone who knows the confession is coming, whether the speaker is ready or not. The daughter watches her mother's trembling shoulders, and a part of her, the part that still remembers bedtime stories, warm hands, and better days, hopes the truth will finally make sense of the hurt. Another part of her expects yet another excuse. The mother finally raises her head. Her eyes are glassy, rimmed with red. "This wasn't supposed to happen," she whispers. "None of it." Judy folds her hands. "Tell me exactly what wasn't supposed to happen." The mother inhales shakily, as if the words are burning her throat on the way out. "I didn't take the money because I wanted it," she says. "I took it because I thought, if I didn't keep things looking stable, people would take her from me." The daughter's breath catches. "What?" Judy straightens, interest sharpening. "Go on." Tears spill down the mother's cheeks now, freely. "When her father left, everything fell apart. I was drowning in debt. I was terrified of losing the house, of losing her. And every time I looked at her, I saw how much she deserved better. I felt like a failure. The daughter's eyes soften, then harden again. The duality of compassion and betrayal tears at her expression. So I lied, the mother says, voice trembling. I lied because I thought if anyone knew how bad it really was, they'd think I couldn't take care of her. The daughter whispers, "Mom." But the mother shakes her head quickly, wiping tears with the back of her wrist. I told myself it was temporary, that I'd fix it before anyone noticed, that if I held everything together long enough, I'd get myself back on my feet. Judy's tone is steady but piercing. So you chose her money instead of asking for help? Yes. The word cracks open like a wound, because asking for help meant admitting I wasn't strong enough, and I thought, strong mothers don't fall apart. The daughter looks away, her own tears building, not from anger anymore, but from a grief she has carried silently. The mother turns toward her. I wasn't stealing from you because I didn't care. I was stealing because I was terrified you'd see the truth, that I wasn't the mother you believed I was. Judy lets out a quiet breath, absorbing the weight of the revelation. The courtroom is still, not out of shock, but out of recognition. Many know what fear can turn a parent into and what it cannot excuse. But Judy is not finished. Even if that's true, she says softly, there is still something missing, something you haven't admitted, something deeper. The mother stiffens, the way someone stiffens when a secret they have locked away finally shakes its cage. Judy leans in. Tell us the real truth, she says, the one you've been hiding even from yourself. The mother's confession still hangs in the air, raw, trembling, and unfinished. It lingers the way smoke does after a flame dies, clinging to everything it touched. No one moves, no one breathes. The truth is still settling, and everyone feels its weight. The daughter stands frozen, her eyes reflecting a storm of emotion. Not shock, not anger, but something quieter and far more painful. Understanding, battling with hurt. For years she begged her mother to tell the truth. Now she finally has it, and it is heavier than she imagined. Judy folds her hands atop the bench and lets the silence expand. She gives the moment room, because silence in this courtroom is a truth detector. It reveals who is crumbling, who is healing, and who is pretending. The mother's shoulders shake. She wipes her face with trembling fingers, smearing mascara into uneven streaks on her cheeks. Her voice, when it finally emerges, is tiny. I didn't know how to be what she needed. The daughter exhales shakily, stepping forward just a hair. Mom, I didn't need perfect. I just needed honest. The mother presses her forehead into her palms. A sound escapes her, half sob, half apology, trapped in her throat. I thought if I broke down, you would see me the way I saw myself, weak, unworthy, not enough. The daughter closes her eyes, struggling against tears that blur the edges of her vision. I never asked you to be unbreakable. Judy's tone softens, but the firmness remains. Children don't fall apart when their parents ask for help, but they do when their parents pretend everything is fine while stealing from them. The mother flinches, not from the words themselves, but from how true they are. The daughter's voice returns, softer now. You didn't steal just the money. You stole the trust I had in you. You stole the chance for us to face things together. The mother looks up slowly, her face red and swollen. I was ashamed. That's the truth. I couldn't bear for you to know how badly I was failing. A tear slides down the daughter's cheek, silent, reluctant. I would have helped you, she says. I would have loved you anyway. The mother breaks completely at that, shoulders collapsing inward, a sob shaking through her ribs. This is not the dramatic crying of someone trying to win sympathy. This is the grieving of someone realizing the damage they caused cannot be undone by tears. Judy lets the moment breathe, but not endlessly. Her voice lowers, steady and guiding. You say you were ashamed. You say you were scared. But fear does not entitle you to violate your child's trust. The mother nods helplessly, tears falling freely. And now, Judy continues, your daughter is the one carrying the consequences of wounds she didn't create. The daughter wipes her cheek, voice trembling. I just want to know, what happens now? The question slices through the tension with surgical precision. Judy looks between them, one woman broken by guilt, the other broken by betrayal, and she leans forward, ready to draw the next truth out of the wreckage. "Before we talk consequences," Judy says softly, "I need to hear what you want from her now." The daughter doesn't answer right away. Her silence isn't hesitation, it's contemplation. A reckoning between everything she lost and everything she still hopes might be salvaged. The courtroom watches her, the way an audience watches a tightrope walker's next step. Even her mother holds her breath, fingers trembling against the table, waiting for a verdict she has no control over. Judy leans forward just slightly. "Take your time," she says. "This is your moment." The daughter inhales deeply, the sound catching in her throat before smoothing out. Her gaze lifts to her mother, not as a child looking at a parent, but as a young woman looking at someone who has shaped her life with both love and harm. "When I came here today," the daughter begins softly, "I thought I wanted punishment." The mother's face crumples. She closes her eyes as if bracing for impact. The daughter continues, voice shaking but gaining strength. "I thought I wanted her to feel the way I felt, confused, betrayed, afraid of what would happen next." She shakes her head gently. "But sitting here, listening to her, I realized something." She pauses and the silence feels holy, a fragile bridge between pain and truth. "I don't want revenge," she says. "I want honesty." A gasp moves through the gallery, quiet but unmistakable. The mother's eyes snap open, glistening as she looks at her daughter with disbelief. "Honesty?" she whispers. The daughter nods. "I want you to admit what you did, all of it. Not because you're cornered, not because there's evidence, but because you understand you hurt me." The mother's lips tremble. Her breath shakes. She was prepared for anger. She expected it. But forgiveness wrapped in accountability? That is a blow she did not see coming. The daughter steps closer, hands clasped tightly in front of her. "I want you to stop pretending everything you did was because you were forced, or because life pushed you. I want you to tell the truth because it matters, because I matter." The mother's face collapses into a quiet, broken sob. She covers her mouth with one shaking hand, shoulders trembling with the release of a guilt she has carried alone for too long. "I matter," the daughter repeats softly, "and I need you to see that." Judy studies the mother with a rare softness in her eyes, not sympathy, but recognition. Recognition of a woman who has been hiding from herself for years. The mother tries to speak, but the words won't come at first. She presses her palms to the table, grounding herself, pulling air into lungs too tight with grief. Finally, her voice cracking, she says, "I see you. I see what I did to you. And I'm so sorry." It's not enough, not yet, but it's true in a way her previous words never were. The daughter nods once, a tear slipping silently down her cheek. "Then say it," she whispers. "Say what you did." Judy leans back, watching the final barrier crumble. The mother wipes her face, trembling. Her next words will decide whether this moment becomes healing or another wound. Judy's voice drops to a quiet command. "Can you admit what you really did?" The mother looks down at her hands as though they belong to someone else, someone capable of doing things she has spent years pretending she would never do. Her fingers tremble, then curl inward, as if trying to hide from the truth they forged. Judy waits. The daughter waits. The entire courtroom seems to balance on the fragile moment before a confession, the kind that cannot be taken back once spoken. Finally, the mother lifts her head. Her face is blotched, streaked with the residue of tears she can no longer control. When she speaks, her voice is fractured, broken open by truth. "I took your money," she says to her daughter, each word deliberate, unadorned, unprotected. "I forged your signature, twice, and I involved your aunt." Her breath shudders violently. "And I lied to you about all of it." The daughter closes her eyes, a tear slipping down her cheek, not because the words surprise her, but because she has waited so long to hear the truth unmasked. The mother continues, voice trembling harder with each admission. "I told myself I was doing it for the right reasons, that I was protecting you, protecting our home, protecting the image of the mother I wanted to be." She shakes her head slowly. "But that was a lie, too." Judy nods gently for her to go on. The mother forces herself to meet her daughter's gaze. The moment feels like glass, fragile, reflective, dangerous. "I wasn't protecting you," she whispers. "I was protecting myself, my pride, my fear of being judged, my fear of failing as a parent." Her voice cracks. "And I hurt you because of it." The daughter wipes her cheek, but she doesn't step back. She stands there, absorbing every word, every fracture, every piece of the truth she's been denied. The mother presses a shaking hand over her heart. "The truth is, I saw you growing up, becoming stronger, smarter, more responsible than I ever was at your age, and instead of being proud," she stops, choking on the admission, "I got scared you didn't need me anymore." The daughter's breath stutters, the vulnerability cutting deeper than any lie. Judy speaks softly now. "Needing someone is not the same as owning them. Children grow. That is their job. Parents adjust. That is ours." The mother nods, tears streaming. "I know that now, and I hate that I learned it too late. I stole from you, but worse than that, I made you feel like you were the problem, like your anger was disrespect, like your questions were disloyal." Her voice cracks again. "I failed you." Silence sinks into the room like a slow-setting weight, not heavy with accusation, heavy with truth finally spoken aloud. The daughter inhales shakily. "I didn't need perfect," she whispers. "I needed honest." The mother breaks again, quietly, her shoulders shaking with the final unraveling of the person she pretended to be. Judy lets the confession settle, lets it breathe, lets its shape stretch across the room like a shadow finally recognized for what it is. Then she lifts her gavel ever so slightly. "Here," Judy says, voice steady and cool as marble, "is my judgment. Before you hear the verdict, ask yourself, can people truly change, or do they just get better at hiding the truth?" The gavel hovers in Judy's hand, suspended in a moment thick with consequence. The mother's breathing trembles. The daughter's eyes shine with a mixture of fear and fragile hope. Then, crack! The sound rings out like the truth sealing itself into the walls of the courtroom. Judy lowers the gavel and looks directly at the mother, not with anger, but with the firm, unshakable clarity of someone who has seen this kind of pain too many times to mistake it for anything else. "I am ordering you," Judy begins, voice steady and resonant, "to repay every dollar you took from your daughter, including the funds involved in the second withdrawal." The mother nods quickly, tears spilling anew. "I will, Your Honor. I swear I will." "But," Judy continues, raising a hand to stop her, "the financial part is the least of what you owe." The mother stills. The daughter's breath catches. Judy shifts her gaze to the young woman. "You were robbed, not just of money, but of trust, of security, of the belief that your parent was someone you could look to when life got difficult." She pauses, letting each word land. "You deserved better." The daughter nods slowly, her throat tightening. Judy turns back to the mother. "You justified your actions with fear. Fear of failing, fear of being seen as weak, fear of judgment. But fear," she says, leaning forward, "is not a license to betray the people you're responsible for." The mother bows her head, unable to meet her daughter's eyes. "You can rebuild trust," Judy continues, "but only if you stop hiding behind excuses, only if you confront the parts of yourself you've been avoiding, and only if you accept that your daughter does not owe you her silence." A long, trembling breath escapes the mother. "I understand," she whispers. "I do." Judy softens, just a fraction. Good. Because she deserves a mother who tells the truth, not when it's convenient, not when she's cornered, but always. The mother finally turns toward her daughter. Her voice breaks open. "I'm so sorry, not just for the money, but for all the ways I made you feel small so I could feel stronger." The daughter steps closer. Her expression is no longer hardened. It is wounded, yes, but open, ready for something new. "I don't know if I can forgive you today," she says quietly, "but I want to try." The mother sobs, and not loudly, but deeply, the kind of cry that comes from a place long sealed shut. Judy nods once. That is as honest an answer as you could give. The room settles. The tension releases, replaced by a quiet that feels less like fear and more like aftermath, the stillness that follows when a storm has finally exhausted itself. The daughter wipes her cheek. The mother straightens slightly. As if feeling the first fragile thread of rebuilding stretch between them, Judy lifts her gavel one last time. Her voice is calm, almost reflective. Cases like this, she says, remind us that honesty isn't a luxury, it's a responsibility. When you hide the truth long enough, it stops protecting you and starts destroying the people you love. Crack. The matter is resolved. The mother nods, swallowing hard. The daughter breathes out, slowly, shakily, but freer than before. And in that quiet, something shifts. Not forgiveness, not yet, but possibility.